I've managed small construction crews for years, and most neighborhoods welcome our work. But the Cedar Grove HOA was different. Their president, Linda Monroe, ran meetings like military briefings and treated every hammer tap as an invasion. My crew and I were renovating a single-story home for a retired couple who'd finally saved enough to expand their kitchen. We had permits, insurance, everything pinned neatly on the front post. Still, within 2 hours of breaking ground, Linda appeared at the edge of the driveway with her clipboard, asking who gave us permission to destroy property values. I introduced myself, showed the city approval papers, and explained that the project would last only 3 weeks. She frowned as if the documents insulted her personally. I knew the type, someone who believed neighborhood bylaws outweighed city law. My crew exchanged nervous glances, but I told them to keep working. The hum of saws rose, dust drifted into the air, and Linda marched away, muttering that this wasn't over. Over the next few days, she made good on that promise. She stood across the street, photographing every load of lumber and every truck that parked along the curb. Once, she even scolded my plumber for stepping on common grass. I kept my temper in check, reminding myself that professionalism wins in the long run. But the tension thickened. On the 4th morning, as we poured concrete footings, a white sedan rolled up Linda's car again. She stepped out, arms crossed. "You were warned," she said, phone in hand. I tried to reason with her, pointing at the city inspector's signature on the permit sheet, but she raised her phone and started recording. "The HOA will handle this," she declared before calling someone. I didn't know then that the someone was the local police dispatcher. Within minutes, a patrol car appeared. My workers froze. No one likes sirens when all you've done is your job. The officer who stepped out was young, polite, and clearly uncertain why he'd been sent. Linda approached him first, voice sharp and confident, claiming we were operating heavy machinery without authorization. I showed the officer our paperwork, even pointed to the city inspector's mark dated just 2 days prior. He scratched his head, clearly seeing no crime, but protocol meant he had to report it. Linda hovered near him, narrating every word I spoke, convinced she was catching us in a lie. I called the city office on speaker to confirm everything publicly, hoping to calm her down. The clerk verified the permit and thanked us for following procedure. The officer nodded and left, but not before warning Linda that misuse of emergency lines was serious. Her glare could have cracked stone. I thought that was the end of it. I underestimated how far pride could push a person who believed she was protecting her neighborhood. The next morning, Linda escalated. My crew arrived to find bright orange cones blocking the driveway and a freshly printed HOA notice taped to the fence. Work suspended pending board review. It meant nothing legally, but it frightened the homeowners. They called me, worried the renovation would violate their association agreement. I assured them I'd handle it. Just as I was about to remove the cones, Linda appeared again, this time flanked by 2 HOA members. They spoke and practiced legal phrases, property integrity, aesthetic harmony. I tried patience first, then firmness. "You can't override municipal authorization," I said. Linda snapped back, "Then we'll let the police decide." She dialed again. This time, multiple units responded because she reported an unauthorized commercial operation. I stayed calm, though my crew looked ready to pack up. When the first cruiser arrived, I caught sight of a familiar face stepping out of the second car, a tall figure in command uniform. Relief washed over me. It was my brother, Chief Grant. Grant and I don't often cross paths on duty. He prefers to keep families separate from work. But seeing the exasperation on the responding officer's face, he decided to intervene personally. He greeted Linda courteously, listened to her accusations, then walked over to me with a half-smile that said everything. Another one of these HOA calls? I explained the permits, the constant harassment, the blocked driveway. He nodded, asked to see the documents himself, and then invited Linda to join us. "Ma'am, everything here checks out," he said evenly. "You've made multiple reports without cause. That can carry consequences." She blinked, disbelief mixing with embarrassment, as my crew tried not to grin. Grant turned to the officers. "Clear the scene. These folks have work to finish." For once, Linda had no words. She stepped back, clutching her clipboard like a shield, realizing the chief she demanded was my own brother. After the cruisers left, Grant stayed behind to chat. He reminded me quietly that professionalism includes empathy, even for people like Linda. "She's probably scared of change," he said. "Houses mean stability for folks like her." I sighed, watching Linda retreat toward her porch. "Maybe," I said, "but fear doesn't give her the right to sabotage others." Grant chuckled softly. "True, but if you keep your cool, you win twice finish the job and keep your reputation." We shook hands, and he drove off. My crew, reinvigorated, returned to work. By late afternoon the driveway was cleared, and the sound of hammers once again filled Cedar Grove. The homeowners brought lemonade, thanking us for not giving up. Across the street, Linda sat silently on her steps, no phone in sight. By the time we completed the renovation 3 weeks later, the tension had evaporated. The new kitchen shone, the homeowners were thrilled, and even Linda gave a curt nod when she passed. Maybe Grant's visit had reminded her that authority should protect, not intimidate. For me, the lesson was simple. Doing things right sometimes takes more patience than muscle. As we loaded the last tools into the truck, I looked around the quiet street. Order had returned, not because someone won, but because truth eventually speaks louder than noise. The crew honked goodbye, the homeowners waved, and I glanced once more at Linda's porch. She raised a hand, a small gesture, but enough to prove that even the toughest conflicts can end with understanding when handled with calm and clarity.